Moving to Taiwan, which is the threat that the U.S. is looking to deter, Taiwan security sources have described a new Chinese tactic in relation to the PLA's latest activity around Taiwan, or what they call the drills that dare not speak their name. China reserved 7 airspace zones from December 9th to 11th, located east of Zhejiang and Fujian provinces, coming up against the Taiwan Straits median line. On the same day, Taiwan's military activated its emergency response center. This is Chinese Ministry of National Defense spokesperson Wu Qian.
兵无常势，水无常形。是否举行演习，何时举行演习，由我们根据自身需要和斗争形势自主决定。无论是否举行演习，解放军在打毒促统方面不会缺席，不会手软。
Raymond, what did you make of this time? I mean, the tactic of neither denying or confirming military activity.
Exactly. We hear the speech seems to suggesting illuminating on nothing. And that's shrouded, and the mystery shrouded about the PLA military drills. And but historically, the political purposes that are always there. For example, so-called the 2024 Sharp Sword, Joint Sword exercise, A and B. One is after the inauguration of Lailari in May, and also after the delivery of the Double 10 speeches after the Double 10. And both are really on paper. There's no live fire, no exercises of crafts or vessels in relevant waters or airspaces. And the second one even ended within 15 hours. So it's really an exercise on paper. And to go further back to the history, the August 2022 military drill after Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan, those are more real like a drill. But that serves as political purposes to express the dissatisfaction on the Chinese part about Nancy Pelosi's visit. And actually, Chinese has been preparing for this, only for waiting an excuse to launch it. So at the beginning of the discussion, it's worth mentioning that the political purposes are always there. So that makes this one, the latest one, a mystery, because there's no propaganda around it, no blaring about this. So we see a very, very low-key statement by the spokesman. So that's the mystery.
Okay, so was that the point, to create confusion?
I think it's a very dangerous move by the Communist Party of China to do something like this, because what happens is people don't know what their intentions are. And if they don't know what their intentions are, there could be an accident where somebody causes something to happen, a person's killed or ship is attacked accidentally, and then there's no context for this event. And so let's say something happens outside those areas that were defined, and no one knows what their intent is. So I think it's a very dangerous activity, and also I think it also messages something very important, that the Communist Party of China doesn't just look at Taiwan as its target. It looks at the territories that it claims, which includes the Senkakus north of Taiwan, and also the entire so-called South China Sea
Okay, let's go on to the next question then. So Taiwan's Defense Deputy Chief of Staff for Intelligence, Xie Ji-sheng, said, announced or not, the scale of vessels dispatched this time was staggering, with their range extending from the first to the second island chain. Commonwealth magazine reports that the only figures made available to the public came from senior national security officials speaking to Reuters, which said China had deployed nearly 90 naval and coast guard vessels around Taiwan, as well as in the East and South China Seas, 2/3 of which were warships. The Japan Ministry of Defense Joint Staff Office reported that 6 Chinese naval vessels passed through the Okinawa Trough and entered the East China Sea. So, Raymond, however, there seemed to be discrepancy between how Taiwan framed or characterized this activity and the US. Can you explain why that might have been the case?
Yeah, the factors contributing to those discrepancies are, firstly, there's of course, including countries including Japan, the Philippines, and Taiwan closely watches what happens in the surrounding waters. And the Japanese military and defense ministry sees no unusual level of activities by the PLA crafts, and also no launch of missiles or use of live fires. So that's one contributing factor to play it down. And the second one is about the intention. There's not a clear indication of, because some people link it with the overseas visit by William Lai, but which is not really very, very truthful, because actually Taiwan is an independent state, and William Lai visited the countries which has formal diplomatic relations with Taiwan. There's nothing new and no elevation and no specific purposes trying to achieve beyond the status quo. And the third one is about the US election, because this period of time is between the handover period in the US governments. And maybe China is trying to raise the stakes for the incoming Trump administration, trying to suggest that we are here, we are very powerful, we can do something to disrupt or present the potential to disrupt. So you better to be, for example, on the tariff, on the immigration problems, you have to take our interests into account. So there are so many factors into this, and so people are not sure, and maybe the best judgment on all the parties maybe to play it down a bit.
Okay, so playing it down a bit actually makes them seem more powerful. Guermantes, do you agree with that?
Look, the problem is that, as I mentioned in the beginning, they didn't say what they were doing. And so there's multiple reasons that you could interpret it from it. My interpretation, though, is based on the maps that I provided that show first the so-called 10-dash line, plus the line that goes up from Japan up to Korea. This line is what they declare as their territorial waters. And they demonstrated their positioning of those exercise areas along the same front that they've created with this line. The point is that China wants to exert its so-called claims in these areas, not just only on Taiwan, but the entire region. We've seen it with the Philippines, how they are assertive in the so-called South China Sea. We've seen it also recently in their activities near Japan. And this area, to me, if you look at the second map, it's coincidentally also where there's lots of gas and oil. And surprise, surprise, that's what they claim.
Right.
So I think that that their real intention is to practice asserting their sovereignty over these waters. That's it.